Brooke Monique. Welcome back to my channel. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. As you can tell from the title of the video, we are going to be talking about my journey to pay off my student loans. I'm from a small town. It's called Pocomoke City in Maryland. It's about 45 minutes from Ocean City and 3 hours from DC, if you're familiar with Maryland at all. But I went to college in Miami, Florida. I attended Barry University. It's a private Catholic school. I actually had the opportunity in high school to attend the University of Maryland Eastern Shore. They offered me a full academic scholarship, but I declined because I wanted to go away for school. I wanted to experience new things, see a different area, be far away from my parents so I could do my own thing, and my parents supported that, so that's what I did, and it was a great experience. I had the best time of my life. However, it was quite expensive. I received a partial academic scholarship, but I still ended up having to pay $20,000 a year. And it took me 5 years to obtain my diploma. I graduated with a Bachelor of Science in Biology with a minor in Chemistry, and 5 times 20 is 100, so I owe $100,000 plus some because of interest, obviously. When I graduated, I didn't have any idea really of what I wanted to do with my degree or what field I wanted to go in or anything of that nature. My senior year of high school, it was time for me to decide what I wanted to do with my life, what college I wanted to go to, and I literally just picked a major. I actually started off freshman year as a psychology major because I took a psychology course my senior year around the time that I needed to decide what focus I was going to have in college, and I was like, ooh, that was cool, like maybe I'll just major in psychology. Better yet, I'll be a psychiatrist because they make a ton of money, so let's just do that. And that was my plan, literally. Like, I gotta do something, so I'm gonna do this, because my whole life my parents were like, oh, you're gonna go to college, what do you want to be? Like, so it wasn't even a question in my mind that I was gonna go to college. Like, it was gonna happen, I was gonna go there, it was gonna, figure itself out. And that's what happened. So I stayed in the psychology major for a year, and one of my advisors told me that to be a psychiatrist, I would have to go to medical school. And because of the courses that I would take in medical school, it might make more sense for me to major in biology because the courses match up, instead of keeping my psychology major and then taking outside courses to prepare myself for medical school. So at the end of my freshman year, I switched to a biology degree, and I stuck with that until I graduated. And that's why it took me an extra year to graduate. I never failed any classes or anything like that, but it was just extensive. And because the school that I went to was Catholic, I had to take theology courses and sociology courses, and it was a lot, but it was a blast, so I really didn't mind being there for an extra year. But now, obviously, I'm paying for it. So when I graduated, I moved back home to Maryland. Every summer throughout college, I would come home and work at Hibbett Sports, a sporting goods store that we had in my town. And I was just a sales associate. I would work there from May to August, and then I would go back to school. So when I graduated, I went back working there, and within a few months, I was promoted to assistant manager. And then I would say after a month of being assistant manager, they offered me a store manager position in Milford, Delaware, which is an hour and a half from Pocomoke City, where I was currently living. So I moved to Milford, Delaware, got an apartment, officially had bills for the first time in my life, and I was working at the sports store full time. I had to work 48 hours a week, to fulfill my commitment to them for the salary that they were giving me. And it was really hard work just because of the hours. So I worked 5 days a week, and at least 2 days, 1 or 2 days, I worked 12 hours, and I was lifting boxes of Jordans and men's sizes and Timbs, and it was just really hard on my body. I'm 5'4". I was managing a staff of about 5 to 7 people, dealing with people's attitudes, dealing with customers cussing me out, wanting discounts, stealing. It was just a lot. And I decided that I wanted to try to enter the field that I had a degree in. And my mom actually sent me a post that she had seen on Facebook of a pharmaceutical company in Salisbury, Maryland, which is 30 minutes away from my parents' house, that was hiring for people with biology and chemistry degrees. So I sent them my resume, and I was able to get an interview. I actually interviewed about 2 or 3 times, and then they offered me the position. So I gave the sports store 2 weeks notice, and then I moved to Salisbury to work at that job. And I did that for about 5 months. And then my mom had the amazing idea for me to move home and commute to work, so I wouldn't have any bills, because I don't pay for my car note or anything like that. My parents bought my car my second year in college. Well, the car I have now, they bought me my first car in high school, but that broke down. Oh, so sad. But so I don't pay car insurance or anything. Literally, I'm just paying rent and utilities and food. But moving home, I wouldn't be paying anything. I wouldn't owe a cent to anybody. That's what I decided to do. As far as my loans, because I think it's pretty standard that after you graduate college, and you're not in any type of school, you have to start paying loans back within 6 months. My sister's 5 years older than me. She went to undergrad and also law school, so she has obviously a lot of knowledge that she passed down to me about that. And she actually let me know that I could apply for forbearance and get an extra year of not having to pay my loan. So that's what I did. And so the entire time that I was in Milford, Delaware, I didn't have to pay any student loans. I did download the Qoins app. I'll put the link in the description, where you link your debit card, and anytime you buy anything, anytime you make a payment, they round up the change. So say I get gas for $15.50. They take the 50 cents that would have made it a $16 transaction, and they send it to wherever you would like it to be sent. So you can pay off your credit cards, you can pay off your student loans, and so obviously, because the only debt I have is my student loans, that's where I had been sending my spare change to through this app. So every month I was paying about $45 on my loans, even though I didn't have a payment that was due. So my payment due was $0, but I was still sending towards my balance that I had. Right now I owe about $35,000. And so basically that was just trying to keep my interest low, keep it from accumulating. I graduated in May of 2018. 6 months after that would have been November, and that's when my forbearance ended. When my forbearance ended, my balance was going to become, I think, about $130 a month for me to start paying my loans back. But I did an application for income-based repayment. So I did an income-based repayment plan, and that changed my amount due from $130 a month to $0. So even though that was a blessing and I didn't have to pay anything, I still allowed the Qoins app to continue to send my spare change to Nelnet, my loan service provider. So now it's June of 2020. I've been out of forbearance for 7 months. I still have a payment due of $0. I work a full-time job as a chemist. My plan is to be able to become a homeowner, but before I do that, I want to completely pay off the loans that are in my name. So I owe over $100,000 in student loans. My parents are saints, and the lion's share of that amount is in their name. So the Parent Plus loans that they took out for me, they're responsible for over $70,000. I am only responsible for $35,000. My goal is to pay off that $35,000 and then start paying on the amount that they owe as well, that they've already been paying on since the initial 6 months were up that I graduated from college. I have 2 bank accounts, one that I'm using as a savings and one that I'm using as basically my spend account. Every pay, I send $150 to my savings bank, and the remainder of my check goes to my spending account in my other bank. And my spending account is what I am using to pay my student loans. So, since I moved home, I was able to save over $6,000, but that also includes the stimulus that I received, and I put the stimulus in my savings account in case when this quarantine's over, I want to go on a little trip or something. But anyways, so I have 7 different loan groups that make up my total loan of $35,000, and each loan group has a different amount. They range from $2,000 to around $8,000 per loan group. I'm going to be using the snowball method to pay off those loans. So I'm going to pay off the loan groups in order from least to greatest. I actually just paid off my first loan group. It was $2,200, and I was really struggling because I didn't want to give them my money, even though it's their money because it's owed to them, but I work for that money, So it was tough for me, but what I realized is it's going to give me financial freedom because eventually I'm going to have a balance due, and it's better if I can pay off these loans before that happens, because I don't want to put it off, and then they're asking me for $300 a month, and then by that point I will most likely have my own bills. I want to be a homeowner. I'm gonna, I might buy a new car, things of that nature, and I don't want to have this weight around my ankles of my student loans. So I have officially paid off 1 loan group. I have 6 more to go. Ideally, I would like to save $150 a pay. I get paid every week, which equates to about $600 a month. If I save that and put the rest of the money towards my loans, I'm thinking that it should take me about 2.5 to 3 years to pay off my loans, which is a little disheartening because that's a long time, and I would love to just, start my life and live on my own, have a house. But I really believe that this is the smartest decision. If anybody is going through something similar, has any tips, or just would like to start a dialogue, let me know in the comments. We can get through this together. You know, we got to pay these people off. The one thing we can't do is act like these loans don't exist, because they do. And the people will knock on our door and incarcerate us. Okay, but they might not incarcerate us, but it's going to be bad. It's not worth it. Okay, so we need to pay these people their money so we can be free. From the time that I could probably understand the English language, my dad has told me that credit cards are the enemy. So for my entire adulthood, my entire time outside of my parents' house, I treated credit cards like they were the plague, okay? In college, if I didn't have money, I didn't have money. That was it. Like, I'm not getting a credit card. I'm not about to ruin my life. I didn't even understand really what that could happen. But my dad is like my sounding board. Whatever he says is like gold to me. So he told me that credit cards are not my friends, so they weren't my friend, and that was the end of it, okay? So luckily, I didn't use credit cards. Now I understand that for some people, it is important to use credit cards and to build your credit and that sort of thing, because you need credit history to be able to have loans or to buy certain assets and things of that nature. But for me personally, it wasn't necessary. I technically had credit history because of my student loan, so that's debt that I have on my credit report. So I always understood that your credit score was important in some way, but I really started paying attention to it this past April, 2 months ago, when I moved back in with my parents and was focusing on paying off my loans. You have 3 different types of credit scores: your TransUnion, Equifax, and your FICO scores. I've only been monitoring my TransUnion and Equifax because that's what's shown on my Credit Karma app for free. Of April 12th, my credit score was 679 for TransUnion and 677 for Equifax, which isn't bad, but it's also not amazing. I had a fair score. My sister, like I said, she's 5 years older than me and has a lot of worldly experience. She actually brought it to myself and my parents' attention that because I don't really have any credit history outside of my student loans, if they added me as an authorized user on one of their credit cards that had low usage and a high balance, or a high limit, it would greatly increase my credit score, because their credit is great and they utilize credit cards and that sort of thing. So that week of April 12th, my mom added me as an authorized user for her credit card. As an authorized user, I have complete access to that credit card. They will even send a credit card for that account with my name on it so that I can use it, but that wasn't the purpose of me becoming an authorized user, not to have access to their money, okay? Because if that was the case, probably wouldn't happen. I think the credit card company sent us a credit card and my parents shredded it and told me after the fact. But, that's not what this was about. So I completely understand, We're just focused on my score and improving that. April 21st, what is that, 9 days after my mom added me as an authorized user on their credit card, my TransUnion score went from 679 to 794. That's an increase of 115 points. My Equifax score went from 677 to 788. That's an increase of 111 points. And y'all, I didn't do a thing. Nothing. Even to this day, it's just amazing to me. And as of this week, June 10th, my TransUnion score is 797, 3 points away from 800. And my Equifax score is 792, 8 points away from 800. and I didn't have to do anything. The only thing I did was I listened to my dad and I didn't get a credit card and didn't F up my credit. That's all I did. And it's amazing to me because credit is power. I could probably get a loan for anything. So by paying my loans off, I am trying to not mess up all the hard work that my parents have put in for me thus far. I would love to pay off my loans and then buy a house, but I'm not really sure where I want to live, so that's something else I need to figure out before I become a homeowner. But I'm going to take you guys on that journey with me. We are one group paid off with 6 more to go. 35,000 minus 2,200 isn't a huge dent, but we're started and going to try to be disciplined and get out of debt and be debt free and maintain this credit score and try to create some generational wealth for my unborn children. Okay, that's what we're doing. So if you have any tips, any support, we can support each other. If you're paying off your loans, let me know. We can talk about it. You know, one day at a time. I'm an adult now. And it happened overnight. You know, I wasn't worried about credit scores. I spent all my refund checks at school on food and tattoos and bathing suits when I really should have been paying off these loans. But you know, that's neither here nor there. We're here now. We know better, so we're doing better. We're gonna do it together, y'all. If you like a shout out in my next video, comment below, post notifications on, like, comment, and subscribe, and check out my other videos. And never forget, Black Lives Matter today, yesterday, and tomorrow. Don't let up. We're still signing petitions. Laws are getting passed. We're moving in the right direction. All lives can't matter unless Black Lives Matter. See y'all later.